Evening all, welcome back to the channel. Listen, if I had one of those, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. Trust me, I am not in a good place right now. Neither are these lads. This is becoming an absolute nightmare and a joke of a season. If you didn't check it out earlier, you can come and hear my rant. Myself and Lee having a bit of a go at it on my channel, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing on here. Big ups to everyone that's here nice and early. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel up to 50k, which is our next target. If you can come and support me at Football's 12th Man, then I'll be doing the same for the big 40. So please make sure you come and do that. Like and subscribe and all the thing. And that is the least that we can do to try and put a smile on our faces at the moment, because the news when I woke up this morning was not very positive. But who knew? Everyone saw this coming. I certainly did. All I will say, I didn't see it coming this soon. I thought Martinelli and Havertz might have got an injury this season, but I didn't think it would be a week after the window shut. That is a proper kick in the gonads. But of course, everybody knew this was going to be coming at some point this day. I've got Lee and Adrian with me, and I've got to say, judges, I'm going to start with you. A lot of people have heard from me today. Not a lot of people have heard from yourself today, including myself. I've spoken to you on WhatsApp, and that's it. What are you saying, bruv?
Down, disappointed. Feel very, very let down, like, you know. And listen, I said a couple of, on a show about the season ticket, you know, and all the people got in on me and having a go at me and all that, like. But of course, I only see the clip of it, like, and that's it. Wasn't what I was saying. I was saying, like, you know, the club have, you know, let me down, and that's how I feel at this moment in time. I do feel that. Listen, before January started, like before the January, I think was say we go back to January the 1st, was the game against Brentford. We won that game. Transfer windows opening. I'm coming out of that ground thinking positive vibes, you know what I mean? Like, we need to get a striker, we can still win this league. Then I look at the game against Brighton. It was their evidence that we needed backup for these players, like, you know. I don't think Havertz was available then, if I'm mistaken. I think he was still ill. And we was toothless. Havertz has come back, worked hard, you know, as he always does. But he has been, let's get this right, he has worked himself into the ground where now he goes on a little break to get to rest and recover, and he's doing like extensive work, you know what I mean, and done his hamstring. You can't write it. You can't write it. But listen, I feel like as a fan and as a season ticket holder, I'll say it now. I feel that the club in January let me down. Let me down, like, you know. We know we needed a striker. We needed, not necessarily we needed attacking options. Let's put it that way. We needed bodies. Now, for the club not to do anything, and I see a lot of people in our chats and all that, Russ, particularly going on to the Kroenkes, get it. They're part of it. The ownership has to take its blame for this, but so does the manager. Now, people say to me, oh, the manager, Mikel has got clout. This decision to get rid of Aubameyang, by the way, cost the owners millions and millions of pounds, but they backed him, right? So if they're willing to lose millions and millions of pounds, if he comes in and says, right, I want this and I want that, I'm pretty sure that they would have put that to him. Now, they couldn't get what they wanted to. I get that. But there must have been some player, certain players that would have been given to him as a choice. And he must have turned them down, because I don't believe that there was no options available. Now, I'm sorry, Mikel. You know that sometimes beggars can't be choosers. You can't get what you want. You can't get the Big Mac. You settle for the fillet of fish. You know what I mean? Like, you might not like it, but that's what you got to do. Like, or a cheeseburger, like, you know, that is it. He did not. He decided he wanted it was a Big Mac or nothing, and he's now ending up eating the carton. That's what he's doing, like, you know, and it's all wrong on every single level. You know, I don't think there's anybody that can justify them not going and getting somebody in on the attacking areas. Now, Havertz has gone down. One of the reasons he's gone down is because his workload was too much for him. Like, you know, you bring someone in to do. I think it was against the Wolves game. They said he was physically finished, wasn't he? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think he was. And then I see him coming on in a dead rubber in Spain. You know what I mean? So listen, and the reason that is, Dan, is because they've got no one else to come on and rotate. Now we've got a situation where we've got three strikers. Right. Well, what are you going to rotate them with? Who are you rotating them out? These guys now have got to play week in, week out, every single game for 90 minutes. It's an absolute joke. Listen, for the money that we pay on our transfer, on our season tickets, not only that, if you're not going to games, you're still paying. If you're watching it through Sky or whatever, you're paying for these players. The massive new stadium to be gambling on not getting no injuries is just a shambolic decision. It's a disgrace of a decision. And at the end of it, all of them, I'm not going to just say ownership, all of them, that's the manager, the coaching staff, recruitment staff, everybody, they are to blame for this. Now, I feel sorry for the supporters, and more importantly, I feel sorry for the players, because as fucking let down as I feel, I'm pretty sure those players must be feeling let down as well. Like, not to get anybody in a transfer window. I hear them down the road singing songs and criticising their ownership and everything like that. Like, they needed a forward, they went and got a forward. They needed a goalkeeper, they went and got a goalkeeper. They needed a centre half, they gone and got it. Yes, they might have not got him when they wanted them, but they went and got them. We, on the other hand, went through the whole of January knowing that our best forward was out, our best forward, our best attacking option, our best player was going to be out for, I think, for the rest of the season. You have an operation on your hamstring. You know that that's dodgy. There's no guarantees that you're going to come back straight away from that. And one thing you do not want to do, Dan, is rush him back, right? So you want to take as much time as you can with him as you can. Right. So that happened just before the transfer window. Great. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to happen just before the transfer window, the time it's going to happen. Then you lose Jesus for a year in the transfer window. Well, at least it's in the transfer window. The transfer window then shuts with not one person through the door. Right. And this is what it makes me laugh, is when you get these so good, positive people. What are you on about your season ticket? Stop moaning and moaning. We're second in the league, and we've got the Champions League, right? We lose two more players, Havertz, and now, of course, we've lost Martinelli for at least 5 weeks, right? Okay. We haven't played one league game or one Champions League game since that. You know what I mean? It's about the whole picture. Now, anybody that wants to stay positive about this transfer window, fine, you can do that. But for me, I feel let down. Personally, I feel let down. And what I'm saying is, right, and I'm happy now to put my ticket on exchange. Listen, I go week in, week out, every single game, like, yeah. And I give up lots of other things for that. Family parties, birthdays, myself playing football, etc., etc., etc. Right, and I've done that where it's not about winning. It's not about winning, because there's been years I've been going when we've not even looked like winning the title. The reason that I feel let down now is because we as a club had a chance of winning this league. We're got to the top 8 of the Champions League, had a chance, and they done nothing. So now when, like, we go to Man United, and I've got a massive game against Aidy's team in a league game that day, I'm not going to go Man United now. I'm going to go and play in that league game. I've got a cup final, right? And if they change the Nottingham Forest game to the Wednesday, I shall not be going at home against Nottingham Forest. I'll pick and choose a few games now, because I feel so disappointed. Look, if I haven't got nothing on, I'm going to go. Of course I am. But if there's something on at the same time, Dan, I feel like, do you know what? We can't go on holiday because it's so-and-so's birthday, like, you know what I mean? Got a game that day. I'll tell you what, I'll miss that game and we'll go on holiday, or we'll do this, because that's how I feel at this moment in time. I feel let down, and I don't feel bad about that, because at the end of the day, there's lots of other fans that are on Twitter doing all this and all of that, giving it their large, don't go to every single game. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel let down, Dan, by it all. Like, you know what I mean? Arsenal could have still won this title if they'd have invested. Listen, they might have invested 50 million and not won the title. We don't know, like, you know what I mean? But I was never asking them to go out and spend £100 million striker. I accept it. I understand that. I understand that you can't get the player that you want in the beginning of the season. Like, but what I don't understand is you just didn't get anybody to back up these players. It's a joke, an absolute joke. And I feel very, very hurt and disappointed today and let down.
Yeah. Yeah, big time, man. Look, my dad rang me this morning, AD, right? And he said, if this was a business or a company, let's just keep it simple. This is a delivery company and you need to take X to Y. And you have 40 vehicles and 2 drivers. Not really going to do a very good job, are you? That's basically what we're asking Arsenal Football Club to do now. Is can you win us this title in this Champions League or one or the other with no players, please? No strikers, no front line, no nothing. That is abysmal. How are you feeling about it all and where do you point the blame?
Well, I'll tell you what, boys, if you just come off with those analogies of Arsenal Football Club off the top of your head, I'll bow down to you because that's brilliant. Well, big back and he's got a cart and a lorry drives. I love it. I don't even know. I'm laughing.
You cry otherwise, bruv. That's why.
Oh, it's. I mean, like I said before I come on, just to the viewers, I've had a treatment today, and I've got picked up by my mate, and got his car, and he's gone. He said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm right." He said, "You heard the Arsenal news?" I said, "Oh no, what's happened?" And he's told me, and we just looked at each other and burst into laughter, like and just I couldn't believe it. You know, I just it was, you know, the writing was on the wall. We all knew it was going to happen, but like you said, Lee, I didn't know it was going to happen straight after the window shuts. And you know, they're supposed to go out to Dubai to chill out a little bit and you know and relax. And you're spot on with what you say, Lee. He's gone out there, got hamstring injury because he's played too many minutes because we've got no options to rotate up top. You know, and I'm not always being funny. Look, I know I've been a Havertz fan in the past, and you know, credit's due to where it's due. He hasn't been great this year. We all know that. He's, you know, he has been missing chances, but at the end of the day, it's all we had left, and they've absolutely gambled. They've not even rolled the dice, have they? It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I don't really need to say much more because Lee's covered it all. And I'll tell you what, if people want to have a go at Lee about him moaning about his season ticket, now I know Lee. I've known him for a very long time, and he's a top fella when it comes to football and Arsenal, and all the times I've played under him and I've coached with him. You know, he's a football man through and through. And if anyone wants to have a go at him because he wants to go and play a cup final and enjoy himself because he can't, because he's been let down by the club, which they have done, and Lee, you ain't going to be the only person who's feeling like this now. Then I tell you what, they can all do one because that's bang out of order. At the end of the day, how many more times has this club, I'm talking about, and collectively as well, you know, I'm not so against, a lot of people are against Arteta, and Arteta does have, there is a blame, that there should be some accountability come his way. But when you go back in the past, the times, again, it's not just the first window they've let us down, but I'll go back to the Luis Suarez £40 million and a penny or whatever it was to activate his release clause. And you think, how many more times has this club got to mug himself off, by the way, like make himself look absolutely bloody ridiculous and stupid with the Suarez bid, the Premier, the Ultimate European League, whatever it was, a couple of years ago, not investing in the right players. Edu, you know, he's gone. You know, and you know, we all thought, oh, Edu's let the club down. He's left. Why has he left? But well, it's pretty obvious why he's left. I think really now it's all coming out in the wash. I don't really know what to say. You know, Lee's right. Lee, you're spot on when you say about, you know, get someone in. You know, they'll say, oh, he can play up front. I can play up front. I can play. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where we go from here. Yeah,
well, I know where we go. I know where we go.
That's a few options.
We've got a front three, which consists of a 17-year-old who's now going to be killed and having to play 90 to 180 minutes a week. We've got Sterling, who can't play against Chelsea in a month's time because he's ineligible. So I don't know what he's going to play on the left wing then. And then we've got Trossard up front, who I actually quite like up front in number 9, but hasn't actually particularly had a very good season. And two of those players are in their 30s and probably going to be knackered to have to play the rest of the season. So we are in an absolute mess. And I'll tell you this, boys, right? I had a phone call from someone who will be watching this, by the way, about an hour ago. And he went on a passionate rant in 2013 on AFTV and it went viral. Nothing has changed 12 years later. He could go out there now with Robbie, Chris Hudson. Yeah, you all know him. And he could go and do that again, Lee, because nothing has changed whatsoever with this ownership. He is now sort of pointing at different names of people under the same ownership, different manager, different board, different people, but the same common denominator. This ownership. In 12 years, since that rant, nothing has changed, judges. Come back at me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
It hasn't. And listen, but just what like people are saying in there about Kai Havertz not been running to the ground and using Mo Salah as an example, right? The difference between a coach will tell you this, a proper top manager will tell you this. Like, it's not the amount of games that they're playing; it's the rest time. You know, Salah had a 6 weeks, 7 weeks off in the summer to recuperate and all that. Like Havertz had 3 weeks playing in the Euros, coming back and then playing again. Like it's the recovery time in between games. It's not nothing like what these other guys are doing. Salah broke down last season, if you remember rightly, with a hamstring injury. Coming back from what? Where did he get that? Got that playing in the African nations. So listen, it's not about the amount of games; it's the recovery time. Now, if you have a look at all of the players in in and around the that are injured at the moment, we can go in all clubs. All clubs have got injuries. We know that. But look at it. Saka played in the Euros, didn't have no rest. Declan Rice has missed more games this season than he's ever done, like, because of what happened in there. Havertz now has gone down, like, you know. You look at Martinelli and Jesus, you can look at that and go, well, okay, not so much there because they don't play week in, week out, so it can go there. Like, you know, Saliba's had a little bit of an injury, bit of a worry this time, like, you know. Ben White is another one that's had lots of rest and recovery, but is continually keep playing. So it will happen. And at the end of it, it's one of those things when you're playing up front. This is why players get taken off up front, because the work rate they do is a lot difficult than what the defenders do and things like that. Like, you know, they're sprinting, making these runs, you know. So it is all about the recovery side of it all. Like, and at the end of the day, these people are in charge at Arsenal. They've got all the data, all the stuff that tells them all of this, right? And for whatever reason, they've chose to go light in that department. Well, can someone ask me, right? And you know, these injuries have been there all the time. It's taken them till February to realise that Tomiyasu might need another operation.
Oh, please, mate.
Please, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on? Like, you know, now at the end of the day, Kai Havertz, in my opinion, has gone to Dubai. He should have just took his trunks, his fishing rod, and that was it. Like, you know what I mean? He shouldn't be worrying about playing pressing games and all that. Like, you get out there, you have 4 or 5 days off because that's what you needed. Like, you know what I mean? Intense training sessions. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the reason that you're out of the FA Cup is because, and even Arteta said it after the game against Newcastle, we was a little bit jaded and whatever. Like, so what the hell are you doing intensive training sessions for? Just give the players the break and rest that they needed. And listen, you can go on and on and on and on. The fact of the matter is that we needed somebody before Havertz was injured anyway. You know, that was the case, you know, and we didn't go and get anybody. So look, do you know what? I've got to say it now, whether you like this or whether you don't. Mikel Arteta and the ownership and this football club deserve to be knocked out of the top 4 now, not get top 4. But do you know who doesn't deserve it? Us fans and also the players. You know, like, they don't deserve not to be in the Champions League and going all that. But that is what they've done. They've left us so bloody short. Now, at the end of it, boys, you got to get top 4. You know what I mean? We bring all the best players in. We've gone through, in the Champions League, we've gone through 4 windows. I keep repeating this, 4 windows since the Champions League. The first window, £100 million player. Oh, this is great. This is what the Champions League's about. Like, come to January, no money spent. Last summer, £5 million was spent. Like, if you take away the sales and everything like that. This window, nothing. So in 3 windows out of 4 in the Champions League, we've net spent £5 million. What's the point of us getting in the Champions League, like, you know what I mean, to go bailing out of it in whatever. I watched Manchester City versus Real Madrid yesterday. I wish I hadn't, boys. I wish I hadn't watched it. Like, you know, the quality of front play there. You know what I mean? City proved that maybe Real Madrid are a little bit weaker defensive because they haven't got a lot of defensive cover, given that. But they had forwards that could get them out of trouble. It doesn't matter if you've got the weakest defence in the world. You have got players that can get you out of trouble, right? On the other hand, Manchester City, you know, they're just one of those teams that at this moment in time just giving away things. But at the end of the day, our forwards going up against those teams, do you think we'll beat them 2 teams? I don't think so. Like, oh, we beat Man City 5-1. We did. We had Havertz up front. We had Martinelli there. We had Trossard. We still had options. We haven't got those options now, boys, you know. And I'll be really honest, you could argue, I don't know if it's a fair fact or not, but we're coming up against Leicester that might have a bit more of a potent front three than us, or a attacking front. I'll tell you what, looking at the bottom of the league at this moment in time, and I mean this sincerely, and I don't mean this, and I'm not being, what's the word? I'm not being out of order when I say this, right? You know what I mean? But say Ipswich, I'll take the lap over our front three at this moment in time, like, you know what I mean? Like, Wolves, I'd have Cunha is better than what we've got, like, you know. Everton's front three at this moment in time, the lack of goals and that is better than ours. Like, West Ham have got a better front three. Oh my God, I can't bear it. I can't bear the next team up there. Like, you know what I mean? This is Tottenham got more options than us at this moment in time. Man United, probably not. Look how Man United are playing, like, without any decent strikers. That's what we're going to have to get used to with us at this moment in time. You know,
the thing is, Lee, as well, that, you know, for all the you can rant and rave all you like. Now the pressure on our backline, our midfield, is now it's increased tenfold, because we ain't going to be scoring the amount of goals that we have been scoring going forward. I can guarantee you that now. That is going to happen. We are going to be in games where, with reinforcements bought in January, with the injuries that we got, so we have got better options. It's now going to put a massive pressure that when we go 60 or 70 minutes into a game where we ain't scored, or we're 1-0 up, or we're 1-1, or even, you know, or trailing, we've got to throw caution to the wind, because we ain't taking our chances, and we're going to leave the back door open, and we're going to end up losing games or drawing games and dropping points simply because we can't put games to bed. And, you know, and that's the crux of it all, because we can't do nothing about it. We can't sign anybody, you know. And I totally agree with you, Len, and I know you do, Dan. I feel sorry for the players that have got to step up with all that pressure. You know, if Arsenal, for some miracle, get through this and win something, the league or the Champions League, which please don't think I'm saying that's going to happen, because it ain't. But for just some sort of miracle comes along and we do something, I think, what did you say earlier on, Lee? It made me laugh big time. Go on, tell everybody.
What's that?
The statue.
Yeah, I said it on Sky Sports today. I said, like, you know, if Arsenal win this title or win the Champions League, I'll start digging the hole, right, for Arteta's statue.
Yeah,
because it would be the best thing. It'd be. I don't think it can be topped. If he goes and wins the league with that front three, and not only that front three with the options that it's got, no options, it's a miracle, boys. It's an absolute miracle. It's a masterclass. But bear in mind, don't worry, I won't be digging the hole, you know what I mean? Like, because it ain't going to happen. But if it does, and they go on and win one of them major trophies now, you'd have to say like, that's
Well,
incredible, but it ain't going to happen.
No. So, yeah, what do we do, Dan? I don't know. What do we do going forward? I've got a few little radical options and opinions that I would use with the squad, but I don't know what you're saying.
Well, there's some options that apparently that people have spoken about already. Let's share some of them. Apparently, Mikel Merino, he's been identified as an auxiliary striker in case of emergencies. No, thank you. There is obviously some other positive news as well, and it's really positive. This season is now done, so it's on to the summer. Sami Mokbel, we're targeting Sesko, Sver Naipan, and Zubamendi, and we believe the trio will be Arsenal players in the summer. Sesko as release clause makes the deal easier, and Zubamendi and Naipan are close on signing for the Gunners next summer. We're also contacted again, the Espanyol, over the signing of goalkeeper Juan Garcia. So I don't know why we're all negative, boys, because these four are in the door and the title's ours next year. So it's all good.
We're not negative. No one's negative, Dan, are we? We're in bloody February. We're still in the season. You know,
it's next season. There's nothing to play for now. It's all done. Yeah. We're not in the Champions League. Apparently, we're out of that, and we're out of the Premier League. According to these journalists, it's all about the summer now. So let's concentrate on the summer, get the white flags out, and let's go into the summer. You're on mute. But I think he's on chatting to summer. But when I look at that situation, that sort of thing really peeves me off. Yeah. Because everything that we are speaking about now is always the summertime. And I kept tongue-in-cheek on my channel singing this Will Smith Summertime. Just tongue-in-cheek, because I thought they would not let me down. And that's what this club have done. They've let me down. They have let me down. This ownership has let me down. And what peeves me off even more is when this amazing manager that people keep telling me is the second coming of Pep comes out with these stupid comments like this, with Romano tweeting them back in God knows when this was. Mikel Arteta, Stan and Joshua Kroenke are the hungriest sports people I have ever met. I have never seen ownership like it. The level of support they give you is something incredible. Liar. That's what you are. Yeah, Mikel. Liar. £15 million a year you're being given to tell lies and cover for these two people. That's what you're doing. You are the shield for these two club owners that don't have a clue how to win anything at Arsenal, that have no ambition to win anything with Arsenal, that have said for the last 17 years they've not bought this place to win trophies, that have shown us in 17, 18 years that they've been here, in every single transfer window we've been left short, that they do not have ambition to win. And Mikel Arteta is sitting in press conferences telling them they are elite and they are the best, and they are the best ownerships they've ever worked for, even though he walked out of one of the best ownerships ever in Manchester City. And he has got the cheek and audacity to tell us all that these people are the best he's ever worked for. He's a liar. He's an absolute liar. The last two transfer windows have shown to me everything I need to know about this football club. And when the summer shut, everybody said I was over the top. I was told Sterling was the guy to get us across the line. He's not played well since COVID, people. Wake up. That was 5 years ago, lockdown. Yeah. We were bought in Marino, Calafiori, Neto. And Judges makes a good point. Yes. Champions League. Here come the world-class players. Are we ready? David Raya, world-class goalkeeper. Kai Havertz, world-class number 9. Declan Rice, world-class number 6. Neto, world-class backup goalkeeper. Marino, world-class midfielder. Calafiori, world-class defender. Lies. Liars, these people are. None of those are world-class players. None of them. The foundations have been built and we're sprinkling it with gold dust. Well, if that's the gold dust, I want a new board, I want a new sporting director, I want a new ownership, and I want a new manager. Because they're all top to bottom to blame with this. And people say it's not Mikel Arteta's fault, it's not his fault. Why have we not bought a striker in 5 years? Please, someone explain this to me. Why has he not wanted a striker in 5 years? Why has he spent £400 million on defence and not one number 9 has walked through the door? I need to get rid of this guy who's scoring all our goals because he's toxic. You're going to replace him, Mikel? Yes, with someone who's going to get us 5 goals, not 15 or 20. Right. Failed. Get out then, because you failed. Ain't good enough. Jesus, Kai Havertz. Who do you want? Aubameyang, 25 goals a season, who's toxic, or Kai Havertz or Jesus? And we're still when they're both injured, not getting a striker in. This guy does not want to complete his forward line. Why? Why does he not want to do that? How can we spend all that money and then we're still in the windows linked with goalkeepers, left backs, and defensive midfielders? No strikers. What is happening here? Oh, we want Sesko. We want Sesko. Wait until the summer. We want Sesko. We can't wait till the summer, Mikel, because you've been waiting for 5 years for one. We've got to bring one in now. You can get Sesko next year. You've got to bring in one now and Sesko in the summer. Yeah? Now we only want to go for Sesko. We've got Havertz. Well, what happens if he gets injured, bro? Boom, down he goes 1 week after the window shuts, on top of Martinelli. Ah, man, it's no excuses for this crap, bro, boys. They're all to blame. Anybody that's sticking up for this are part of the problem at this football club as to why we ain't won anything. Because no one's calling this crap out. Everyone goes to the game still. And do you know what people say lightly? Oh, what are you getting rid of your ticket for? I'll have it. That's the problem. There's 40,000 people on the waiting list. They'll all take it. They'll all take my ticket if I don't want to go. Oh, don't go into the club shop, Dan, and buy the scarf. What, do you reckon Kroenke's going to get on the phone? Hello, boys. Yeah, Mikel, we've heard Dan Potts isn't buying a scarf. There's a huge problem here. As if. Load of crap. 500 people are in that shop. Every time you go there, judges, you can't get in and out the door. We go in the ground. Was it you who told me it was 50 quid for free hot dogs the other night in hospitality?
Yeah.
Oh, the club's dusted, mate. It's a mess.
Do you know another thing which people won't know about? It's put in the old group chat today that they've contacting people, season ticket holders. Don't forget, you've got to go.
I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, you've got to go to 20 games out of 23. Otherwise, you lose your season ticket. They've brought that out today after that news, knowing that people are going to lose heart. By the way, I know that we've let you down. I know that we haven't got a striker and the season's finished. But don't forget, make sure you go to those games, because if you don't, we're going to take your season ticket off you. Absolute disgrace.
Scumbags. Who the hell do these people think they are, by the way? Sending people letters and emails saying if you don't go to 20 games, you'll lose your ticket. It'll be given to someone else on that waiting list. Why do we want that to happen? Because people like Lee Judges and Dan Potts, we don't want them at the club. We don't want them coming to games. They don't go in the club shop. They don't spend money on the Camden L's, which taste like shit. They don't buy a Kroenke scarf and wave it around their head. They want someone from over on the next list to come in. Oh, I've never done that before. Never been to this stadium before. God, I'm going to get in that club shop and buy everything. I'm going to go get that new shirt. I'm going to go and have a nice drink of the pie and the pie and mash deal. Get that deal done. That's what they want. They want to turn this place into a tourist attraction. They're not interested about winning this ownership. When people wake up and realise that, the better. But people ain't.
Well, they've proved that they don't want to win with this, because somebody said to me, which is a great point, and it is a great point. Look at the money that they've spent out of the Champions League, and I'll bring this up, right? William Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, Martin Odegaard. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anybody else worth stating.
Timber?
No, Timber was bought in the Premier in the Champions League. I think Trossard might be another one. Gabriel Jesus, Shinchenko, right? Bought in like
Party.
Why were all those players bought? Party. Why were all those players bought?
I know what you're going to say. You can add Aubameyang, Kieran Tierney and Lacazette into that as well. They were bought in the Europa League.
All to get in to the Champions League, not to win it, to get in it. Now we're in it. You would actually say that the players we've bought to get into the Champions League are better than the ones that we've got. Now we're in it to win it. Look, I get it to a certain degree, right? If you're the owner, right, and you're having a meeting, what's the chances we're going to win the league this season? Well, 50-50. 50-50. You know what I mean? Liverpool got a bit of a front on. Listen, Stan, Josh, we are capable of winning all 14 games. But, so Liverpool, we could actually win all 14 games and still not win the league. Okay. So, what you're saying is that if I spend 50 to 100 million now, ain't going to make much of a difference then, is it? No, because I can still guarantee. I think if you spent 50 million, it guarantee us top 4. All right, okay. What if I don't spend that 50 million? Oh, I'll make sure you get top 4. Okay then. All right then. Well, should we go for a cup of tea now then? Is that it? Like, let's go and watch the Rams, or whatever. Like, that's it. There wasn't enough done. He should have been there, Mikel, going, I need this, I need that, I want it. Now, don't tell me he ain't got the clout to do that, because when he wanted Aubameyang gone, that cost this club millions and millions of pounds. Millions. If you work it out. They had to pay out his contract, right? Yeah, pay his wages, lost out on a transfer fee, and didn't got anything back on his fee of 50 odd million, whatever it was, right? Now I hear people turning around and saying, oh, we didn't go for Ollie Watkins because we ain't got no buyout. If he leave, we ain't got no crap. You was prepared to not get nothing for Aubameyang. So what are you worried about sell-on values and all that? Like, it's nothing about that. There is a time when Mikel's got to hold his hands up and say, do you know what? I was wrong as well. I should have brought in somebody. Now, there's still a chance they could bring in somebody, Dan. They can't play in the Champions League, right? Because you have to be registered for that. So that's gone. But you can bring in people now to help out in the league, i.e. a Diego Costa, i.e. a Lucas Perez. I've heard of him before. He's available. Like, they will not get anybody. Not anybody. Because you know what? It's going to cost you a little bit on wages. So they're not going to do it. They are not going to do it, and people are saying, oh, yeah, they might even go for that. I've heard someone say that today. They might even go for that. We could have gone for that in January, but didn't. So why are we going to go for it now?
We ain't getting anyone.
Oh, we had 2 players. We got 2 players go down. That's what I heard. That we got 2 players go. We had 2 players go down. One in before January, and one in it, and still didn't do anything. This is it. Listen, and we are entitled to have a moan up about this. Do you know why? Because we cannot. How can I say this? Like, if you go into McDonald's, right, and all of a sudden you go, I'll have a Big Mac. And they go, that's 55 quid. What? 55 quid. Well, all right. I'll go down to Wimpy then. Go into Wimpy, £10 or whatever. When they do that to us, oh, there, 55 quid for your season ticket, I can't turn around and go, what?
Well, they do that with the hot dogs. They're expensive.
I'll tell you what, I'll go down the road and support West Ham or whatever. You can't do it. There's nothing you can do. So basically, they just pull down your pants every single time.
I'll tell you what, boys, while you've been chatting, I've just gone on, just put a Google Stan Kroenke online. And look, I'm not one to believe everything here online, but it says here, right? Stan Kroenke business raises 45 million for futuristic stadium tech in Europe. All right. So it says here, obviously being at Arsenal, being the owners of Arsenal, that they're committed this amount of money to upgrade any of their stadium ownership across Europe. Right. So that obviously, from an Arsenal point of view, good news, because they might expand the Emirates to 80,000 people. And, funny that. Why are they doing that? Because they want to enhance the revenue at the club. Now, we've moved from Highbury, where I agree, like we sold our soul when we moved from Highbury because of what an iconic ground and the memories that have been made there. And we've gone to the Emirates. And rightly so, we had to go because of the way football was going for the future. And just reading this, it just look, we all know it's a business. We all know that. But when you look at a lot of football owners, boys, there's a passion. There's a passion for the club with a lot of owners, isn't there? And some of these owners aren't nowhere near as rich as what the American boys are that own our club, by the way. I don't, when Arteta came in and the stupid Super League, it all went crashing down. They couldn't do enough for us. Good day. Josh Kroenke kept coming over in a plane. You see him on the training ground. The videos were flying around online on the Arsenal website. Josh Kroenke is in. And I don't care what anyone says. When you watch that as a fan, you're like, oh, finally. You know, Silent Stan has sent one of his minions over and you think, do you know what? You know, it gets your hopes up, doesn't it? And you think, oh, mate, maybe they're going to invest and bring in the right players. And then suddenly, the European Super League, oh, yes, we'll go for that. Why? Because you're going to get hundreds and billions of quid from it. That all falls apart. And then it's the grovelling letter comes out, doesn't it? Oh, we're really sorry. We've made a mess up here. We're sorry to the fans. We should have consulted you, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I'll be honest, I fell for it. You know, I felt, you know what, maybe, yeah, they've finally woken up and they're going to support the club. And then bang, £100 million comes in for Declan Rice. Who, by the way, Dan, sorry, I disagree. I think he's world class. And you think, wow, you know, we've never, ever spent that. And by the way, we spent it on a player that we bloody well needed as well. So it was like, blimey, the club's finally actually, you know, listened to what Arteta wanted and what he needed, and they've gone out and got him. Since then, Lee, you've spot on 4 transfer windows with everything that we've spent out to what we've taken in. Put over 4 windows, that's 50 million spent. 50 million over 4 transfer windows with all Champions League money, bearing in mind all the sponsorship money that's been coming, it's been renewed at the club, all the infrastructure that goes on around the club, and you know the money that they now make on match day, the freaking hot dog prices that have gone up bloody by 4 or 5 quid since the last time I went there. It's an absolute joke that these owners, reading what I've just read online about the fact that they want to improve every freaking stadium, what about the freaking teams that play in it? You know, I mean, everyone knows me on the channel now, and I'm a very level-headed football person. And I'll call a spade, and I'll have my opinion. I may not agree with me or anything like that. But I'm so freaking angry listening to you two talk about it and coming up with actually things that I now understand better and think I mean, I haven't got a season ticket. I would love to go to Arsenal every week and have a season ticket, but I've got a family and, you know, I just can't do that in my life. But I still support my club through thick and thin. And just listening to what's said and now reading that, you know, we all know we've got a lot of Spurs fans, Lee, and you as well, Dan. And, you know, we all laugh at Spurs, and rightly so, because it's the banter between the clubs. They're our local, you know, we hate each other. We do. And no matter what, when, you know, Spurs are right in the mud right now. And no matter what, you know, on my WhatsApp groups, Lee, you have the same, Dave will have the same. Whenever Arsenal get beat, the Spurs fan are on you, aren't they? They're on you. Oh, Arsenal, they're crap this. Oh, I can't wait for AFC TV and all that rubbish. We don't banter. We don't say much back to them because we don't need to. But when they go out, you know, they've got that injury list through the roof as well. And you know what? It's half the Spurs right now. But like you said, Lee, they've gone out and got that tell from Bayern Munich. I didn't know who he was. Googled him, gone on YouTube, looked at his stats, looked at his goals. And, you know, he's scoring goals that Havertz wouldn't score. And he's available. Turned Spurs down, by the way. You know, so we then go and put a pathetic bid in for Ollie Watkins. Like it's, that's appease the fans just by putting a bid in. But actually making another reason, actually making them mugging themselves off even more now because they ain't got someone through the door. And it's just ludicrous. You know, that's spend money on building a stadium to make it bigger and better for the fans. Well, no point having a freaking monstrous stadium and only got to look down the road. They've got the best stadium in Europe. Yeah, but they got a decent team to fill it. And look at us, and the fans, Spurs fans are like us. You know, we've sold our soul to rebuild a ground to be, you know, future proof and on a monetary point of view proof. But the thing is, in football, with financial fair play, it don't matter what you do. If you ain't in the Champions League and you ain't got a team to fill it, people are going to stay away.
If they put priority in expanding the stadium ahead of expanding the team,
Exactly.
then how anyone can still get behind that it is a joke. And look, I'll just put this up here. This is what this guy said back in 2016. I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. I mean, this is quite clear, not the guy that we want in charge. And another thing, Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke are absolutely buzzing with Mikel Arteta because he's made them £200 million in the last 24 months or whatever it is. Because that's what it is now. That's what we've raised the stakes for 35% or whatever the hell it is. That's about £189 million that he's made him. So he's going to stay, whatever. We are keeping Mikel Arteta. Now, look, some people are happy with that. Some people aren't happy with that. And I'm not going to be here to debate Arteta in or out at this time, right? But I'll tell you this. We get to May, there needs to be serious question marks about everything, top to bottom, ownership, right the way down to manager, about what we have not done for the 5th year running, which is bringing some silverware. And on top of that injury news, by the way, judges, as you mentioned earlier, we are being told that, well, I'll tell you what, let's share it. The world champion at hide and seek has appeared. Here he is, the hide and seek world champion. Sammy Mockbell suggests that there's emerging fears over Tomiyasu's troublesome knee. Now, I had no idea that he had a bad knee because no one told us. We were told he's back in 3 weeks, and that was nearly 6 years ago. Doctors believed to have considered sending the player for an operation in an effort to cure the issue. A procedure would most likely rule Tomiyasu out for a significant period of time. Can we mutually terminate this brother's contract now? Because there is no point in him being here. Because I have contributed to Arsenal on the pitch more than he has, I think, this season. It is an absolute disgrace.
Dan, it's not just a disgrace because he ain't playing. This is a human being, by the way, right? Who plays football to earn a living, right? He can't, some players, their bodies just can't cut it. Diaby was one, wasn't he, for Arsenal? The mental health of Tomiyasu must be fucking on the floor because at the end of the day, he wants to play football. He wants to contribute to Arsenal Football Club. He's a bloody good footballer. So, how can you let someone go on like this to be injured and then come out with a stupid comment like that? Why they haven't got him? I know having an operation is major surgery. Doesn't matter what operation it is when on your body needs time to recover. But surely after a couple of months or whatever it is where you have your recovery and you don't recover, it keeps reoccurring, that you don't go and have an operation straight away. You wait. It's got to be not far off a season and a half, isn't it, really, where he's been out for so long. And that is another prime example for me of letting a bloody good football player down and not supporting him and getting him through you'd like to think an operation. I know it's last resort. I get that. But you'd like to think that, okay, we've exhausted everything, get him under the operation table, get him operated on. And then if he can't come back from that, then that the poor lad just, probably needs to retire from playing football. And it's as much as you say, Dan, you get him out of the club. I get it because he can't play because he's injured. But when you look at it from a personal point of view for him, he's been let down, hasn't he? And, Lee would tell you when you don't play football and you love the game that much, it screws you with your head. So, again, that's another prime example of, I'm no doctor, I'm no physio or anything, and people might say I'm acting like talking rubbish. But, again, he's been let down and that's not being around the bush here. When fit, he's a bloody good football player.
I like him.
I like him. Every time he's never let Arsenal down when he's played, in my eyes. And also, it's and then you flip it on the other side. It's a player that is being paid, and rightly so being paid because that's his contract. But he's not playing, so no one's getting the benefit.
You're dead right. Of course, he wants to play. It goes without saying it, and he's depressing. And listen, no professional footballer doesn't, want to sit there and will not be happy.
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, won't be happy about sitting there for a year not playing football, But
the thing is, people, I know I can't see the comments what's going on, and I hope people haven't said it, but they'll turn around and say, "Oh, it's all right. He's earning 80 grand a week." It doesn't matter what he earns, does it? It's his job. It's his job, And if people want to pay you that amount of money to play football, because that's the reality of football these days, then
Well, that's why you've got a contract, because at the end of the day, if you're playing well.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can see this. Sorry to change that. I've just seen this online. No, you can't. Right, it says here, Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke is laughing all the way to the bank. That's because one of the teams he owns has broken into the top 3 of the world's most valuable sports teams, meaning his net worth has risen by over $2 billion. Denver Nuggets and Arsenal Football Club. I'll rest my case. I'm sorry. I'm pissed off. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're all pissed off, mate. There's a lot of people waking up to this, man. But look, let's start to come to a close. There's nearly 2,000 people in here, man. That's unbelievable. Make sure you do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, people. Yeah. Please make sure that you do that. We haven't had enough of that. Let's get some of these super chats in, and then we'll come to the game at the weekend as a close. Alexander says, I can't wait for the Chelsea game where Sterling isn't even eligible to play. We won't even have 3 attackers available. Well, we will. We'll have Kieran Tierney, left wing, mate. There we go. Sorted. Malik says, how concerned are you about the club's ability to tie down the futures of players like Saliba? Could be the start of real heartache via departures. Funny, because this is what I said would happen. The third youth project will end exactly how the other 2 did not. And that is exactly how the other 2 youth projects ended. Cesc Fabregas and Van Persie went, laters, you don't match my ambition, Arsenal. I'm going to go and win stuff. What did they do? They went and won stuff. And then the second youth project, I remember them all lined up. Carl Jenkinson, Kieran Gibbs, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Ramsey, Wilshere, signing away a contract, Walcott on there as well. All went. None of them won anything other than a couple of FA Cups. And they were promised to dominate football, and they go and win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues. Saliba will go Real Madrid, if not this summer, the next summer. He'll be looking now going, yeah, I'm all right, cheers. I'll go somewhere where actually we win stuff. I'll go Real Madrid. Perfect. They're going to come knocking. See you later. It'll happen, people. It will 100% happen. Flowerkey says, word is Arteta will be our new number 9. Be excited, boys. And then Shaitanya says, big up, Adrian. Arteta needs to now coach this out. Now, let me ask you this. I was with a couple of the lads last night and yesterday and this morning, this afternoon. I've done quite a lot of shows. And there's a definite section that are like, I'm glad we didn't spend in January. Let this geezer coach his way out of the mess that he's put him in. Is that harshly? Is that fairly? Is Arteta to blame for this to that degree? Or are we like, no, this guy's a genius and he's going to take us to the top and get us across the line? Because I kind of feel like there's a lot of the fans that are on one side or the other. I kind of feel personally that he is 100% to blame at some point of it. You can't leave Arteta out of this, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. Some people think that nothing to do with him. It's the ownership and it's the board that's the problem.
Well, we'd never know, would we? We'd never know what's going to happen. And before, sorry to butt in, but it's his job. It's Arteta's job to get us to the next level. And now he's got he's not just his hands tied behind his back, he's had his legs cut from underneath him because the board have let him down. However, there still needs to be accountability on his part. It's just a mess, complete mess. Get Donald Trump in. He said the American mess.
At the end of the day, Aidy's right, but like we've all played football at some sort of level, and I'm sure everybody in the chat has played somewhere at the level. You turn up on a weekday or Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, whenever it is you play, Saturday morning, whatever, and the manager turns around and says your 2 best strikers are not going to be there today. You're not there. What do you think of that? Like you think, oh God. The manager will turn around and go, but that don't matter. We're going to play this system and we're going to play it like this and we'll play it like that. And do you know what? Love and behold, you get through that game and you think, wow, that's great. After 5, 6, 7 games, you find yourself dropping down the table a little bit. You're doing exactly what you did in that first game. But at the end of it, your better players get you the results. I don't care what anybody says. Your better players get your results.
Well, Lee, you've only got to look at, I know the viewers won't understand this, but you've only got to look at Smartbury when you played. You got Richie Howard and you got Nicky Winger, your 2 best centre midfielder. You got Richie Howard, your forward who's bagging 40 goals a season.
Yeah,
for Smartbury. where you finish third in the league.
Yeah.
Potters Bar finished 5th, I think, that year.
Yeah. Maybe even lower, 5th or 6th.
Maybe even lower. Potters Bar have come in for Richie and Nicky in the summer. Yeah, I know it's not a Premier League level, but it's still the same principles. Come in, go on, Richie, we'll give you this amount of money. Nicky, we'll give you this amount of money. We need you forward. We need a centre midfielder to get us over the line to win this league. St Margaret's-Bury, remember, it all kicked off, didn't it? All kicked off.
Yeah.
Yellow Papers, and because it was a big rivalry. Richie moves first. Nicky follows suit. St Margaret's-Bury let they go mad. Potters Bar laughing all the way because they've gone and offered the two boys a better contract at semi-pro level. What happens? Potters Bar win the league the following season. They win 3 cup competitions. I was part of that squad that year, and I tell you what, them 2 boys were the difference that got them through. With Richie scoring all those goals, Nicky marshalling that midfield with what Potters Bar had. They added just two players.
Yeah.
And it pushed them over the line. And I remember you, who were just coming to the end of your career at the time, where you were fuming because, you didn't have the opportunity to move because of your age. And I hope you don't mind me saying that.
No.
And you've just seen your good pals go to a club and prance around with 4 trophies, like a pig in shit. And that is no different to Arsenal Football Club regarding the opportunity they had in January to go out and buy 1 or 2 forward players that will get us over, which will give us the opportunity. But I can't say get us over the line because you never know. But give us the opportunity to get over the line and finally win the Premier League. And it's just the biggest. I think I saw in the chat, Dan. It's the biggest failure of the Kroenkes plus whoever else involved at the club.
Do you know?
I totally agree with him. It's the biggest.
You make a great point, and I'll relate it to a different point, but it's the same principle, right? Yeah, Arsenal need 2 players to win the league, right? I think 2 players and they win this league. Yeah, 5-6 years ago, Liverpool needed 2 players to win the league, right? And they went and spent big on a goalkeeper and a centre half. Yeah, everybody used to say Liverpool, if they got them 2 positions sorted, they'd be the best. They'd be the best. They went and done it. Here we are, 3 years into it now. We're still saying we need a striker. We still need this and we need that. We are 2 forwards away from winning the league.
Agreed.
And we, as a club, have done nothing about it. By the way, Liverpool done that in January. With Van Dijk. I didn't do it in the summer. I didn't want to get in the summer.
Also, up against the prime Man City team.
And took on and beat the prime Man City team. Arsenal have had the opportunity 3 times now in the transfer window. And 3 times they've failed. So that means they've failed us as fans 3 times. And this one here, we needed just something to just give us a chance, because there's not a lot of difference in it. To give us a chance of winning the league. Again, they've chose not to do it. I can't say no more how disappointed I am by it. You can go on and about it. At the end of the day, I feel absolutely let down and shattered by it all. I don't know what, if I'm Declan Rice, I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah. Declan Rice could have gone to any football club in the world if he wanted to. Right? Saliba's got probably that choice as well, like, you know what I mean, at the end of it. And are they going to just say, what are they thinking? What are they thinking?
Yeah, ridiculous.
What are they thinking? That's my worry now. I don't care about Arteta. You know, when people go to me, he's got to go or he ain't got to go. I don't care. I care about these players now that have given me so much joy over the last few seasons, and they've challenged for the title, and they needed a little bit of help, boys. Let's all feel sorry for ourselves spending season tickets and all that, yes. But those players had a chance last season of winning the league. They had a chance of winning it this season as well. You better be spending big in the summer, Mikel, because if you're not, you will not last at this football club. It's as simple as that. Because they will not tolerate no more of it. Like, I can't believe even some of the most positive Arsenal fans that are on the groups and all that, like, can't believe what's happened. We know a couple and they're quick to give it to us, Dan, when we're negative and all that. Got messages from the day. Not saying that they're wrong and whatever, just sort of saying things of the line of like,
they're done. They've had enough. Season over. They've all said,
I
understand why you like this. I get why you've been calling it out, Dan. I understand why now. I can see it. But I have had this before, by the way. And then we started winning again. And they all said, stop being negative. So this could happen if we start winning again, right? But I don't know how we win this league or Champions League with Sterling, Trossard and one area up front. That's all I'm saying. And not that I don't rate either of those players individually. I don't think 3 strikers or 3 attacking players is enough between now and May to go and win a trophy. That's just facts. And now we might beat Leicester, we might beat West Ham, we might beat both. But we are not going on a run of 12 wins out of 14, which is what we need, and winning at Anfield with that squad. We ain't going to do it.
We're talking about
and soon what will happen is Saliba or Timber will be the one of the next 2. They will be one of the next 2. Twang, out for the season. One of those 2. You can't come back from an ACL and be asked to play 4 different positions for the whole of the season, the next following season. Saliba, I mean, we've already seen him have a couple of knocks already. He's still going to be playing. We've got no right centre-back cover. Nobody. Ben White's back. Oh, brilliant. Ben White's finally back. Timber will go. Ben White will come back. Because that's what happens. We always have one that comes back and the other one gets injured. Because they're playing too many games. We're absolutely flogging this team. And Mikel Arteta, we've only got 19 players. Whose fault's that, Mikel? You wanted a small squad. You want a small squad, go and manage Burnley. They've got a small squad. Go and manage them. Don't come to the biggest club or one of the biggest club in England and say, I want to work with a small squad when we have to play the amount of games that we play. Because 25 players is still not enough. They might have to be able to allow us to register more if we're going to continue to play this amount of games. Because it ain't Arsenal players that are down here. This is happening with City. Brighton can't field the front line. Bournemouth have got 8 of them sitting in the box, all injured. We've got Spurs. Ange Postecoglou, I don't like him, and I think he's funny. I want him to stay, but he's right. He's complaining about it. Even Liverpool, people say have had no injuries whatsoever. Lie. They absolutely have. Alisson has been out for the majority of their season. Keller's had to play in goal. They had Jota. He's always made of glass. Yeah. They've had Kenyatte. He's been out for 7 to 9 weeks of the season.
What's the difference, though? What's the difference, Dan, with Liverpool?
Well, they've got a squad, haven't they? They've got a squad.
The squad's better because
they've got a squad.
They've recruited well. Talk about they don't spend a lot of money, but because their recruitment within the club are trusted to come in and do a job.
Everybody gets injuries. When they turn around and said Arsenal will never get no injuries last season, we had injuries last season. Don't think that we didn't. Every club gets injuries. It's part and parcel of football. That is why you have a squad. That is why you have to build a squad to cope with that. Now, I get it that if you was to lose key players, it's harder to replace. And that's what's happened with us this season. We've had key players go down, like the likes of Odegaard, now Saka, now Havertz, those sort of players that are very, very key. Liverpool haven't had their key players going out. They've had players go out. If they had their key players go out, it would be different. But that's how it is. There is a little bit of luck in any football. You have to have a little bit of luck, injuries, playing and being one of them. But at the end of it, Liverpool go deep in the League Cup because they won it last year and they're in the final this season. 9 times out of 10, they go deep in the FA Cup and they're challenging for the league and they're going, into the Champions League in a much healthier position than most because they've got a squad strong enough. Listen, Manchester City have got a squad strong enough, but key players have gone down for them. Key players. Same for us. Tottenham have had key players go down for them all season. But so is Bournemouth. Now, at the end of the day, Bournemouth are coping with it a little bit better than other teams, So listen, look, Bournemouth, by the way,
you know why they're coping with it better? It's because they don't have midweek fixtures like
they don't have midweek fixtures. You're right.
And their players ain't off to the Euros. You talked about
exactly that. But they still, they've still got to find a ways of getting results, and they have done, and that's what we've got to do now. That is what we've got to do now. Forget about it all now. There's nothing we can do about it. Down to the players, down to the manager who gets 15 million a year. You don't get given 15 million a year if you're not good at your job. Prove you're good at your job now and get us results. See what you can do. If he wins his next 15 games, you have to say what a fantastic job he's done. Let's see how many games he wins now, where he's got to be tactically better than a lot of other managers.
Well, let me ask you that quickly to come to a close, right? So I've got to wrap up. But this is a really good one to go out on. Playing Leicester, let's just stick to them. Don't worry about the other games yet. We've got to play Leicester at the weekend. It's 0-0, 15 minutes to go. Nothing's happening. Knocking on a door that's just, we can't get down it. Look to our bench. What the hell are we doing here? Does Marino come on? Does Tierney come on the wing? Does Calafiori come on and we go different formation? What on earth do we do now with this bench, judges? It is an absolute disgrace. You might as well bring on young Butler or Deji geezer. That's who you might bring on up top now, because there's nothing to bring on in the front three. Nothing.
Listen, things can happen and things can change. You know what I mean? I remember Sheffield Wednesday back in the 90s were in a difficult position and all that, and they stuck Paul Warhurst up front. I don't know if you remember him, but other people will do. Centre half, took him up front, and he ended up banging in loads of goals for him. Somewhere along the line in that squad, someone's got to step up. It could be Calafiori going up there. People laugh at me. That boy can finish.
That'd be my choice.
You said that earlier on, AD. It could be Marino. It could be bloody Gabriel coming from the back, like going up front. He has to find something now. He looked at that option and said, you know what? I don't know. Someone's offering him. No, I've got what I'm happy with what I've got. He might have something up his sleeve. We'll have to wait and see. And listen, the worst thing that can happen for Arsenal Football Club now, do you know the worst thing that can happen to Arsenal Football Club now? Is if they rush back Bukayo Saka. Yeah. The worst thing they ever do.
Oh, just keep him till next season now. Like, really, seriously, just leave him till next season. He ain't. I don't know if you saw that scar on his leg. He is done, mate. He is done. There's no point getting him back 1st of March. There's absolutely no point rushing him back now. If we are going to go out of the Champions League at some point, we ain't winning that competition. There's no point of rushing him back to play that game and getting him injured again until the start of next season. Let's let him, all of them, rest now till Havertz the same. Let them now start. Have a proper break for the summer and start getting it. I am tapped out. Oh, you're bottling it. You're waving the white flag. Yes, I am. We are an absolute mess of a club. Disgrace. We ain't winning nothing. Yeah. I hope Nottingham Forest win the league now because they've got more chance than us. Can you believe that? They've actually got more chance than Arsenal winning the league. Nottingham Forest, they've got a squad. They've actually got a squad 1 game a week and they're still in the FA Cup. So I look at it now and I think, do you know what? This is completely and utterly done. In my opinion, I didn't think we were going to win the league with all them players, boys. Yeah, Liverpool win tonight. Title done. 9 points, kaput. Well done, Liverpool. You've won the league. If they beat Everton tonight, in my honest opinion, and that is me saying that, and I would absolutely 100% stay the same thing, even if we had Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, and a new signing. 9 points with 13 games left. I don't think that's doable, personally. Not with Liverpool playing like this. And we got to beat them at Anfield and go and win out 12 games or more. We basically had in 14 games. We've got to win them all, really, haven't we? Yeah, including the Liverpool ones. So that's what I think. So I don't think that's done. Then the Champions League, yeah, it's a flip of a coin. You've got more chance of winning that one because it's knockout competition. But you think we're winning that with our front three? I don't think we're beating PSV, Feyenoord or Juventus or AC Milan with our front three. We can't be guaranteed that. So that's the way I see it, boys. I think it's done and dusted, to be honest.
I'm with you, Dan. I'm out tonight for a meal, like, you know what I mean. When it's Marcia's birthday, and I said, I've got a little bit. The Merseyside derby's on. Like, I'm glad I'm not watching it now. I'm not bothered. I'm just going to go out and enjoy the meal. I'm not even going to watch it.
Oh, I know what's happening. Liverpool are winning. Liverpool are winning, mate.
Well, even if they don't, you still we ain't still going to make it up.
You know, Chris said that to me. Chris went, to top off my day, Everton will beat them. That's what he said. That'll top off the day, Everton will beat them, and we'll know, oh my God, we've got a great chance here now. And we ain't got the squad this good enough. So that's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. But listen, people, we're going to end it there. Big up to all of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your super chats, your comments, interactions. We've had nearly 2,000 people in here for the majority of the stream, which is brilliant stuff. My thanks, of course, to AD and to everybody else as well. Please make sure you've hit like and subscribe on this one. And please make sure that you come and follow myself over at Football's 12th Man. Hit 33k last night, so let's try and get us up to 35 to 40. Big up to everybody over there as well. And Lee, I'll let you have the last say, mate, before we go.
Yeah. Listen, Alf, don't bother listening. Good night.